Hello and welcome. It is the end of the 18th day of April 2018. And in this video, I'm going to go over a few comments, basically for those who are new in the game, as well as the times when I bring that black screen up and I buy low, sell high with different coins. I will show you how you can play pretty much all of them that I have done, that I've made so far. And we'll go over that in the second half of the video. So, as far as some comments are concerned, what does the 18 lows mean? And as I'm stating, this is one of the basic questions. And the 18 average of lows is this lower line on the blue line. And in simple terms, it takes what the lowest price is. So as we can see where the line at the bottom is, or on a green candle, the lower line is where the open is. So whatever that lowest number is, and we can see on the top where it says OHLC, open stands O stands for open, H stands for high, L the low, and C the close. So for the lows and the highs, it takes that number, and then it takes the average within the 18 days. My calculation's a little more advanced in a front-weighted calculation, and if you're starting, that's a little you're too little too early in understanding those special concepts. But with a lot of stuff that I go over when it's new, asking different questions here and there, if you really don't know the answer, there is no such thing as a stupid question. And also, when you just go over things more and more, you'll get things. And I have a whole ton of older videos. In the more information box, I have a part one link to my favorite trading video series, as well as one in trading two coins together. I think those are very valuable videos. And in understanding this type of trading strategy, trading platform, the profits, to say that they can be immaculate can be an understatement, especially because the next cross, I got hyper coins, just big numbers when we get into the trading game. So continuing on within the comments. Derek, in CoinList, the Coinbase alternative is CoinList the Coinbase alternative in Canada? Question mark. I have no idea. Maple Below is looking for the most reliable or the Coinbase equivalent for Canadians. Thanks very much. And obviously, and referred Maple to me, so I thank you very much. And anybody else, if you got people you know that think could really help from this information, by sharing this is much appreciated. And especially if you know they're going to help somebody else out, that is just amazing. And as far as how place to put bitcoins, I'm going to go over my Coinbase story, and I think that's the best way of doing it. For let's just go back to the Bitcoin charts as a viewing tool, because I can actually use the price action and timeline there. And back in, I think it was the autumn, somewhere in here, October, maybe November, somewhere in the probably in the low 300 prices. I happened to be watching some sort of YouTube video, and in the comment section, they said silver and Bitcoin is real money. Send a whatever reply, and I'll give $10 worth of free Bitcoin. And I replied saying, "There's no way you can because I don't have any way of receiving it, everything." And he said, "Here's a quick way you do it. You can get your Bitcoin quick with just a Google account or this account." And I have a Google account, so I'm thinking, okay, I'll just give it a shot. And well, I spent the day trying to figure it out. But I had a little bit of a difficult time. I tried contacting vendors that I could trade it to, and all I got is, oh, just get a Coinbase account and send it this way. So I did that, and then I was able to send the Bitcoin to him, and I noticed that I had my $10 on there. Oh, that was nice and sweet. Okay. So I was able to turn it into 30 and withdraw it. And then as the time went on into 2016-17, I noticed my remaining portions was worth a decent amount more. Where like the, because when I sold it, it took me a day. the market went up like 10%. So I had like 80 cents or 90 cents back after giving $10. And then that 80, 90 cents turned to like 4 or 5. It was really interesting. And that the little bits was the case. So as I was getting into Bitcoin, I would keep coins on exchanges because I was trading. So all of them first, when I got into it, did go on Coinbase because that's where I started. Then from Coinbase, they went to exchanges. But I would leave coin. I had Coinbase as my like main base bank account. And then as these prices of Bitcoin started to escalate here past the into like the 4,000 level, I got into the Trezor wallet. And I was thinking to myself, man, that is so much better than this whole Coinbase thing. And since then, I have only been using my wallet, the hardware one. And I've seen them as low as $50 Canadian lately for a Trezor One. There's a Model T, and there's also nano ledgers. I'm not a fan of those, but once you figure out how to use them, they work. I just have a very hard time, difficult in using them, and I really enjoy using it. But these are wallets that are USB drives that you plug in, and you're the owner of a central key. So that to me is the whole point: is be the owner. A lot of times when you go with when you start looking at online wallets, when you go to whatever coin, there's like hundreds and thousands really altcoins out there, and they should all have a wallet that you can where you will be able to go on there. You'll get private keys. You'll have to write down like 20 or 24 words. You'll have a password of some sort, like you have to put in a password, maybe a username for your wallet, and then you're good to go at that point. And then you want to make sure that you are in control of it because there's none of this email. Oh, I forgot password, email me that. No, it's none of that. So you want to make sure that you are fully protected in this spot. And it's not going to be like any banks where they restrict. Oh, you're only allowed to withdraw so much, or we can't let you withdraw anything this week, or none of that. Should at least come into play. Sometimes wallets can go offline, so I shouldn't quite say that exactly, but for the whole point, you are in control, and I don't want to trust anybody that is in that. So with Coinbase, I don't need them. I don't want them. If I'm just wanting to hold Bitcoin or Litecoin, I'll do it on my Trezor One wallet. And therefore, if you're starting in the crypto business game, well, the more you start off with, the better you will be doing. But I look at a lot of this in play because 100, 1000x gains are realistic. You want to really put the highest amount of absolutely pretty much nothing that you can. Or what's the I don't know which way to put it, but if you got say 100 grand, there's no need to put 30 grand in it. That's another way of putting it. But if you put 765, I mean, you could really do some serious ass with a starting level like that. And if you even worked like 500,000, you could do very good. But if you go $10, $20, you still might do well, especially when I go into my next segment and playing with basically nothing and how major gains you can get. For the next crossing game that I'm going to be showing, and I'm not going to show the game, but I'm going to give you the links and the information how to download and play it. Because once I'm done the video, I'm going to play it, but I'm not going to record it. It's going to be a 40, 50-minute video. Oh, but this one is volatile. This one is volatile like crazy. And it starts late February 2015. At that point, Bitcoin was priced at $228, starting with $2 worth. Well, $2 worth of Bitcoin at the time was worth 0.008772 Bitcoin. So that's what the starting amount will be. Half of that because I got to put $1 on the Bella, $1 on the DGB. Well, Bella was 11 Satoshi at that point. DGB is at 59. Well, DGB today is trading at 200 and change, so it's up 5 times. Bella's higher, but it was a lot higher before its fall. It's pretty much nowhere right now. But it's one of the first few coins I traded. In fact, first few, it was the first one, really. that I traded. And even quite literally, I think it really was the actual first coin that I bought. Because when I put my Bitcoin, I first went into Poloniex, and there they have it. So in the game, what you're going to need is you're going to need small basic. Go to the internet, type in small basic, you'll see how to download it. Once you got it downloaded and you got a program like this, well, you're going to need the code. And this is the code. I don't expect you to type any of that in. You're not going to. But what I can do is I can publish this. And after you download this, and here we have, so LGD632. That's the code you are going to need to put in. And what you do is you import, you put the code in, and then after you put the code in, you push OK. This should come up. And then you can run the program. When you push run, there we go. We got properties on the left side. And I like the font. I like 28 as a font. And there's other different things in here. Maybe you can change it to white. And if you do, it's not going to work because I got white background. But if you know how to change the coding, you could do it. And there we have it. So in this one, what I'm a little curious about is how am I going to have a problem? Is, well, how big are these numbers going to get? I think I would beat the market, meaning I would have more coins than I could possibly realistically trade. And if I did that starting with $1, that's just too insane. That would be so. Maybe I can't. Won't. I mean, that's maybe asking for way too much. But in this, whenever a trade comes in, one buy Bella, they'll ask you how many Bella you want to buy. Then they'll calculate how many DGB you would be selling to do so, and so on and so forth with the other one. So what I do when this goes down, I push 4 when it go to buy, and when it goes up, I usually push 2 to sell. That's generally how I end up doing this. So that is that one. Let's now go into some other ones. We got GRBY and XGRS, but it might say that you're up against DGB, but don't be fooled. It is actually GRS, so it's all whatever. It's all for training anyway. So as far as the codes here, let's publish this. If you want the XBY GRS code, it'll be coming up on the screen. There we go. HKT 110. Let's go on to the next one. This is XBY and NXT. Same thing on the. If it's, I don't know why. I thought I fixed them all, but let's publish this one. So you'll be getting, and that's GBN 312. If you want the XBY and Flow, which again, you might get DGB on the other one, same thing. Its code will be JLD 602. If you want XBY and DGB, that'll be BML 910. If you want Flow and Neo, that'll be code JRW 584. Next one, Excel and NXT. If you want that code, it would be MLD 744. We'll do another one. Which one was the last one? XLNXT. So Litecoin against the US dollar. If you want that one, you can get that at code NWV720. When you get it, save it to whatever file. And you can make exe files and run them in different ways, because I do that with this is where I make my FID calculator from. All right, so after the Litecoin US dollar, we got a stock market one, and this is a real loser. So you're going to play one that just gets its ass kicked. So if you want to practice on something like that, That's what this one can be good for. QCD 396. And then after the stock loser, what's after that? We got DGB and NLC. That would be NLC2 probably. So let's give you the code there, SPC021. And let's go for some more. Let's go with Core and Bitcoin. So it's the reverse of it. So the price is the ratio. So if you take 1 divided by a Bitcoin price, you get these larger numbers. And that's what I did on this one. And that's TRZ283. Okay. Last one was Core and Bitcoin. So we got GRS and DGB. And this one's a wild one. This one is very wild. JPR452. And we got VIA and Golden, NLG. If you want that one, that would be in code MZJ156. There's not really many left. We got XDN and Monero, so that's Digital Note and Monero. Let's give you the code for that one. XJS744. And I think there's one more I can do. I can do two more because this one here has no go-to function. I'll just do this one because I'm not even sure about that one. So this is a lot to be able to play with. Gives you different varieties of different coins because it's not random numbers. You're using what the real history is. But what you're doing, and the code for Mona GRS is NXM346. But what you're doing here is you're giving yourself experience without putting anything on risk whatsoever. You're learning how position size to trade with. You can look at some of your mistakes you made. Where were spots where you could have got more profits and you missed out on. So when you replay these games, you can try to fix those. That's when you do stuff like short selling, that I call, where you sell way too less. And then I guess you call it long selling, or you're selling way too much. You can run into problems there that you can see in here. And just try to craft different strategies in doing such measures. Now, the strategy, putting these two coins together, the better the volatility, the better you're going to do. The more trades you can do and flip backs back and forth, the better you're going to do. It, of course, doesn't guarantee what the value, or doesn't even care or know what the value of the coins are. Rather, just basically increases how many you got over time. And one of the big strategies in trading two coins together is when they all go up together at the same time. Mainly your altcoins are worth a lot against BTC and Bitcoin's worth a lot against the dollar. It's a no-brainer. Sell, sell, sell. Sell for two things. Sell against Bitcoin to hold and Bitcoin to buy back later, and sell the Bitcoin to turn out of cryptocurrencies, which would be things. This is what I do. Things like gold, silver, any type of ways of using Bitcoin in commerce and different things of that nature to me are tremendous ideas. And also, if you wish, you can play those or those U.S. dollar funds, the Tether, the True, the USDC. Different ways. I don't like them anymore. I would just think if I'm going to be selling for the dollar, I'm just going to be getting it out of cryptos. And again, really into commerce, precious metals, and stuff like that. So, yeah, to get this program, small, basic, it's the programming that I grew up with. For when I got a Commodore 64 on like, oh, that would have been right after my 11th birthday. I was just hooked. But it came with the book, and the book taught me how to program. I got pretty obsessed with the programming language, and I mean to do these type of numbers like, oh, ratio, I could do over 1,000 on the Commodore. I could do like 10, I think, or 20. It was what do they call those, arrays or gossips? No, no. That was totally different. That was to take you to a certain place. They were, I forget what they were called. But this is the type of stuff that I learned. Stuff like num3 equals num2, all of these different things. I did all of this when I was 12 years old. If this is less than 1, do this. All the go-tos I did when I was 12 years old. That was one of the easy ones to learn. But of course, it wasn't go. It would be go to like 250. Everything was numberized, like these numbers in here. But back then, I had to write in the number like 1700. This would have been REM, price change time. So then I might do 1710, last equals price. 1720, counter equals counter plus 1. 1730, ratio equals ratio forward slash counter, like that. I mean, that would have been the exact same, but I would have needed a number before. And you would have done like larger differentials, like 1710 then 1720, in case you made a mistake. You're like, oh, I should have put this in. And then you do 1711, write a line, you write a line on 1712. It was so old school programming. But that's what I learned. And then as time went on, QBasic was a big programming language with MS-DOS back in the early to mid 1990s, which was pretty much this language. And then I got into learning Java, which I did okay on, but it was starting to get hard, and I was never good on graphical programming. So, I mean, that got even harder. So, any type of the new age programming I really can't do. So, when I heard about this program, I ended up making like a blackjack program, and I should try to locate it up again. But that was one where I was able to do so many different things, like see what your long term edge in this possible spot was, what to do in every mathematical situation, and what your odds are given. Okay, if the card has these many cards in the deck still left, how's the run gonna go? Meaning, 4 5s have been pulled, 2 2s, 7 jacks, an ace, 4 9s, all that stuff. And I did a lot of mathematical research, and it's a game I would not recommend anyone playing after doing it. Although profitable, I don't recommend anyone playing it. All right, that's even 22 minutes as it was. So, any questions, all that type of stuff, let me know. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye bye.